gigantic self-inflicted financial disaster for the U.S. economy. Today, things did not self-annihilate in an irreversible economic fireball of doom. It was a good day.
Propaganda.
And that is because over the weekend, President Biden signed the bipartisan deal passed by Congress to raise the U.S. debt ceiling, to keep the U.S. government paying its bills, thereby avoiding irreversible, self-inflicted, devastating economic catastrophe.
Illegitimate president.
Today, in the White House room where that deal was crafted, my beloved colleague, Lawrence O'Donnell, interviewed the White House team who helped negotiate that deal for their boss, President Biden.
The president's done this for, his entire career. This is his superpower. He really does know how to negotiate, what the considerations are that have to be balanced so that you can secure votes on both sides. And, really establish a framework that we could negotiate within that made a difference so that we could get this done. I mean, that's really where it begins and ends.
As you can tell, even just from that clip, the Biden administration clearly considers the debt ceiling deal a big victory for them, victory for the country, but also a big political victory for the president. And of course, in some ways, it's also a victory for the guy who was on the other side of the negotiating table from them, Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who does get to enjoy a little spate of good headlines about himself for the first time in his adult life. With this deal being signed and disaster averted, really the only people in politics who seem unable to declare victory right now are the Republicans who opposed there being a deal, which I think it's fair to say is a problem for the Republican Party going forward. I mean, just as a general matter, it is not awesome to be on record as being in favor of disaster when other people were working to make sure the disaster didn't happen.
Disaster according to
next year politics, it's a problem that nearly every single one of their declared candidates for president is on record as opposing the debt ceiling deal and instead siding with the far-right Republicans in Congress who didn't want a deal, the side that lost.
So much propaganda, Democrat propaganda.
It is hard to spin your opposition to saving the American economy as a good thing, right? Especially when it's like the whole field of candidates that you're putting forward for president. On the other hand, a win in politics counts only if you tell people about it. Today, a Democratic group that supports the Biden agenda began running a new ad about President Biden's role in brokering the deal. Here it is.
The economy was at risk of collapse, held hostage by MAGA Republicans and their threat of a catastrophic default if their extreme demands weren't met. But President Biden stood firm and negotiated a bipartisan compromise that protects Social Security and Medicare for seniors, expands benefits for veterans and their families, and preserves Medicaid.
It does nothing to protect the U.S. border.
Thanks to President Biden, the American people have an economy that works for them.
Oh my God.
I show you that as a political document because for my entire adult life, Democrats have been very shy about self-promotion. They thought it is rude to remark publicly on things you've done and done well. There's nothing shy about that.
Oh my God.
Tonight, you can watch the full interview with the White House team about how the debt ceiling deal came together. That's going to be on the
Pure
last
propaganda.
with Lawrence O'Donnell, which is right after me. Trust me, you will want to stick around for that. Stay with us.
Yeah. Fake news.